Welcome to the Someday Readings channel. I am your host, the Someday Reader, and our journey to build a better stack of books has brought us to a genre of fiction that was quite popular during the period known as the Cold War, and that is post-apocalyptic fiction, post-nuclear apocalyptic fiction. This is a huge category of books which range from the extremely serious, very depressing, very thought-provoking, very depressing works such as Neville Shute's On the Beach, which is about a post-apocalyptic Australia, which astonishingly enough, does not include leather-clad guys riding around the outback in funny cars, fighting each other over gasoline. I don't know what the author was thinking when he wrote this book, but obviously, I mean, trying to subvert audience expectations, I guess. But moving right along, it's a wide spectrum of fiction is involved in this. Great many authors weighed in on it. Some of the greats of science fiction, Robert Heinlein. I mean, pretty much everybody wrote at least one book engaged in speculation about life after a nuclear holocaust. Some of them with more seriousness than others. There's Roger Zelazny with Damnation Alley, which is one of the sillier ones. Great book, but definitely not in the serious vein of something like On the Beach, which is definitely the most serious of the post-apocalyptic fiction books. But and it's a rich vein of fiction, let's just say. And you'll run across things such as today's book, Phoenix, Dark Messiah by David Alexander. This is I would definitely rate this as one of the less serious books, but I would also rate this as an exceptionally fun book to read. The plot, what there is of it, centers around a fellow by the name of Enoch, who is a leader of a crazy religious cult that has managed to infiltrate his members into every level of the government and military in the hopes of instigating a nuclear war between the United States and the Soviet Union, because he believes that by doing so, he can elevate himself to godhood. That's the plot, folks. That's it. I mean, that's where you're at. And, well, that's okay. That's part of the plot. The other part of the plot centers around a fellow by the name of Magnus Trench. That's the lead character's name. His name is Magnus Trench. And he is a former Special Forces soldier from Vietnam, which was kind of a common thing in a lot of these books, a lot of these action books from the 70s and 80s, who just so happens to be camping in the Redwood Forest outside San Francisco when the war starts. And he crawls into a cave and manages to survive the nuclear bombing of San Francisco and the surrounding area. And upon emerging, he is struck by the fact that the world has obviously changed, and San Francisco is a smoldering ruin. Well, being a practical kind of guy, naturally, of course, I should point out that His family is on the other side. His wife and children are on the other side of the country, of course. Well, as he emerges and is coming to terms with what he's going to do from here, a helicopter appears. And so he follows this helicopter to a mountain lodge where it lands. Now, being a former Special Forces type guy and also being our hero, he very cleverly does not reveal himself immediately. And so he scopes out the area, looks at all of the people involved, and basically they look like a collection of bad guys from the television show The A-Team. If you've ever seen Swamp Thing, the mercenaries that are chasing Swamp Thing around in Swamp Thing, think those kind of guys. I mean, your basic central casting mercenary terrorist type guys. That's who he sees at this mountain cabin. And as he's observing, they bring out a man in handcuffs. And they taunt this individual. They spit at him and throw beer bottles at him and whatnot. And two guys take him off into the woods. Ostensibly, it looks like they're going to kill him. So our man Magnus here follows them and takes his K-bar hunting knife that he just so happens to have with him. Proceeds to gut them and kill them, and to find out that the fellow that they were just about to shoot is in fact a ATF agent by the name of Agent Exposition. That's not his real name, but that's what the purpose that he serves, who proceeds to outline everything that I told you originally about Enoch's plan, and the fact that the nuclear war that has occurred was apparently not big enough for him, and he wants an even bigger one. So, between the two of them, they manage to slaughter the mercenaries and take over the mountain lodge, and come up with a plan to go down into San Francisco, which is an irradiated, burnt-out husk, so that they can get on the interstate and travel to where Enoch and his larger group of guys are hanging out, preparing to do all kinds of evil, nefarious things, to nuke the world even more, basically. Well, now here's the thing, and this is one of the things I need to point out about this. David Alexander, apparently, he stopped by the newsstand before he started writing this and picked up a couple of copies of combat guns and either committed them to memory or he actually bought them and brought them home, because every weapon in this book is described by its full manufacturer's name, such as the MPI 69 Steyr submachine pistol and the M249 Minimi squad automatic weapon. And there are, and in the action sequences in this book, which I'm going to tell you a secret about this. The very bare bones plot of this book serves only as something to hang a series of action sequences on. I know I was shocked when I came to that realization myself. But that does not mean that this book is not fun. And so in fact, I think that's one of its charms, is that it is what it is. It says what it is. It's not lying to you. It is it's got right there on the cover, it has a guy with a machine gun, hand grenades, and black vest, And, buddy, you are in for some post-nuclear holocaust shoot-em-ups. And that's exactly what this thing delivers in spades. And there are even action movie type quips in this book during the action sequences. This book is an 80s action movie in book form. I mean, I'm looking and I see that it was published by Star. And I'm wondering, is Star the literary imprint of Golan-Globus films? If you don't know who Golan-Globus is, think Missing in Action. I think they did American Ninja. I mean, if it was a cheesy 80s action flick, their name is probably on it. But, and one of the other things I want to point out is there is a montage in this book. I mean, there's a film montage in book form in this book. I mean, it is astonishing. For what it is, this pound for pound or ounce for ounce or gram for gram, depending on where you are, there is a lot of entertainment to be found in this book. I cannot recommend this highly enough. And I will tell you right now, this definitely, I mean, if you love action movies, action books, especially cheesy 80s type action movies, this is the book for you to make you feel like, you've read a book. Because this is really very well put together. David Alexander does a magnificent job. When I first started reading this, I couldn't be sure what he was going for. And then I got, oh, hey, there's Someday Kitty. She wants to weigh in. She thinks this is a pretty good book, too. Come on, girl. Come on over here. And I wasn't exactly sure what he was going for. Then it dawned on me that he's making an action movie as a book. And he does a masterful job of it. And I cannot recommend this highly enough. And now, as I said, if you are into 80s action movies and that sort of thing, or just action movies in general, this is definitely your thing right here. I mean, this Phoenix by David Alexander, a definite recommend. Put it at the top of your stack, because I mean, it's good, solid, mindless entertainment. You just turn your brain off and just sit back and enjoy, just a lot of action goodness. And please, as always, like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. If you've read this, I'd be interested in hearing your opinion on it. And well, on that note, we're gonna call it a video. And from myself and from Someday Kitty, y'all have a better one, okay?